map is useless.
Excuse me?
This armor piece that you made, what is this? What's the point?
I made that with my own 2 hands, and this is the thanks that I get?
It feels more like you made it with your own 2 feet.
You take that back.
What is this skill, Smithy?
Oh, speed crawling?
Yes, speed crawling.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that one was an accident. My bad.
Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, welcome one and all to a bit of a round table. A discussion between you and I on a topic of great importance in Monster Hunter, the skills. Now, in every Monster Hunter game, one of the most important factors in the success of your hunt and the enjoyment that you have is the armor that you wear, the equipment that you choose to put on your hunter body. But realistically, the reason for that is less about the armor itself and more about what it represents, the skills held within.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Aside from your weapon itself, these are likely what affects your hunting experience the most as a player, and there are tons of different kinds of skills, from a whole host of ones that increase your attack, to a number that will increase your defense, to any number of useful utility skills that change your hunting experience, in slightly more abstract ways. Most hunters in the game stick to the more meta skills, these being ones that increase your affinity and attack, or just in general raise your damage in some sort of way, with a large portion of players also dipping a little bit into utility to get at least health boost, if nothing else, just due to how easy Iceborne has made it to fit that utility into your builds. That said, this means that there are just a number of skills that the majority of hunters will use frequently. A set number of skills. This means there has to be another side, right? What about the skills that no one ever uses? What about the skills that are so completely ridiculously niche that 95% of players will never even give them a second look?
What about them?
Well, I've seen a lot of people in the community call these skills useless in the past, so let's have a bit of a deeper dive here. Let's talk about some specific skills, then about the idea of a useless skill in this game as a whole, and then finally some ideas that I have for messing around with these types of skills in the future. So, how about aquatic / polar mobility? Well, for those of you who have never bothered to actually look at the skill, it makes you able to move at full speed in water and deep snow, and at higher levels increases your evade window within those areas. Wait a second, that actually almost sounds good, right? I mean, really, if you are in a zone with water or deep snow, this is basically just a cheaper version of evade window with an extra bonus. It's perfect! Well, except for a couple of small problems. First, there are like 4 zones in the entire game in which there is either water or deep snow. This is just a little bit limited here, guys, and let's be honest. Then consider the following. There are only 2 monsters who consistently exist within these zones on these maps, with other monsters occasionally just sort of passing through, but even then, even Beatotus and Gerardus have parts of their fights where they even go to areas without these environmental factors as well, so it's just sort of unused.
What's the point?
Well, if you want to get technical, if you want a build that can straight up absolutely destroy either Beatotus or Gerardus comfortably, you could put this skill in your build. Yeah, an extremely specialized build to hunt Piscine wyverns. But even then, the ice-proof mantle gives you the same effect. So even then, this isn't something that you can't achieve in other ways within the game. It is simply another way to accomplish it. Well, then what about Speed Crawler? Well, this one is just absolutely hilarious, really. It makes you move slightly faster than a walking hunter while crouched, though not faster than a running hunter, meaning that it doesn't give you just a general speed boost, it doesn't really save you stamina often either, and to be completely honest with you, you can't even really take advantage of this in combat as you have to sheath your weapon to crouch, so the opportunities are exceedingly rare. So what is this good for then? Stealth, I guess?
I'm trying to sneak around, but I'm dummy thick, and the clap of my ass cheeks keeps alerting the guard.
If you are going out for a bit of a gather, let's say a longer gathering mission than Gilly Mantle would last for, this could work wonders for keeping you out of the eyes of the creatures around you, while also not slowing you down, as most creatures won't attack you if you are crouched. So technically, there is a use, just like an exceedingly niche one. Geologist is another great example of the other side of the spectrum, a skill used to increase your gains from certain gathering points. This this skill was once only used specifically when going out with the express purpose of mining ore, but now finds a ton of use by hunters who visit the Guiding Lands, as it has the secret bonus, or bug, honestly I'm still not quite sure, of letting people pick up dropped materials in the Guiding Lands twice, essentially doubling your Guiding Land specific rewards. This is an example of a skill not hugely changing how it works, so much as a situation arising that takes full advantage of it and pushes it into people's line of vision.
I can see you clearly now.
Tool Specialist Secret is another one of my favorites, not Tool Specialist itself, but specifically the set bonus from Lunastra. For most hunters, you can at least see the attempted value here, right? 20% faster mantle regen than the old Tool Specialist cap, which means more rocksteady or temporal uses throughout the fight, right? That's just good, it's more damage, but the issue is that, well, the armor's base skills and decoration slots are just sort of okay at best, and 3 armor pieces is, well, a lot. It just absolutely saw no use by the majority of players. But there is always a use for anything in Monster Hunter, in my opinion, which is why we made this build here on the channel, a build focused around giving you absolutely ridiculous Wyvern Heart damage with the heavy bowgun that has Tool Specialist Secret to perfectly line up your Rocksteady Mantle with the recharge of your Wyvern Heart. Yes, again, it's a niche, but it is a build that kills monsters surprisingly effectively, and it is made perfect because of the existence of this quote-unquote useless skill.
I hope you're going somewhere with this.
And then one that actually really upsets me, Shara Ishvalda's set bonus, Gaia's Veil, which essentially turns any mantle that you wear into a low-budget Rocksteady, giving you 5 earplugs, 5 windproof, flinch-free, and 3 tremor resistance. This is basically everything that the Rocksteady mantle does, except for the 30% damage reduction and the immunity to damage reactions. Oh, wait, that's actually like the best parts of Rocksteady. Whoops. This one can be sort of interesting. You just can't even remotely build a meta set using it that comes anywhere close to matching the damage of most builds because it's a 4 or 5 set, but it can be interesting and fun if you are just messing around, I guess. Slinger Ammo Secret is a special one too, for the specific reason that about half of the community still considers it totally 100% useless. That would be the half without effective ways of using Slinger Ammo on their weapons, be it mid-combo bursts or things like Gunlance keeping their worm stake up longer, or even the Thousand Dragons bow attack that fires your entire load of Slinger Ammo out in one go for a sizable amount of damage. There are weapons and playstyles that take tons of advantage of this ability, and then there are a bunch of weapons that only think that this is a weird bonus skill that comes for free on the True Crit Element set bonus.
Maybe it already has a name, huh?
So while there are some skills that are more legitimately useless in a sense, there are also ones that are just specific to certain weapons or playstyles that most people never even think of trying out. And that's my main point here. As far as I'm concerned, there is no such thing as an actual full-on useless skill. There are niche skills and there are silly skills, but every skill has its place, every skill has its time, and every skill has a build out there that can really make it shine as much as possible. Think about heavy artillery. How many times have you slotted that into your builds in the new world? I have done it once for one quest, and in that quest, it made it 1000% easier, and that was Arch-Tempered Zora Magdaros. I know, it's silly, and again, so niche, but Monster Hunter and its player fantasy are about being a hunter. It's about being prepared, and it's about being able to counter any specific situation that could be thrust upon you with said preparation. So even though many people will never even touch these skills, they exist because some people do touch them, and some people really love to touch them.
Stop it! Stop touching me!
All of this said, it is arguable that many of these skills just never really see use, even though they could technically have use made of them if they were made a bit more accessible. So I do have a couple of ideas of how to change this thing up a little bit in the future for future games. One of which is sort of similar to something I talked about ages ago with set bonuses, which is to take something like polar mobility, something like speed crawling, and instead of having it be a skill with ranks that you get on certain pieces of armor, just have it be a one-piece set bonus bonus on Great Jagras or Beatotus armor respectively, and then do something similar for every set. Just a little tiny effect skill that's a one set bonus that may come into action once in a blue moon, but exemplifies the spirit and personality of the monster. This way you make it more accessible to those who want it, allowing them to just put one of any piece of that monster's armor on into their set and they'll just have it. But then also you get to spread the gospel of the unused skills. If you give people an excuse to experience Speedcrawler, maybe more people will just generally like Speedcrawler.
I would never.
And then for the larger ones like Tool Specialist Secret, those are fixed easier by taking inspiration from something like Slayer Ammo Secret on the Silver Rathalos armor. Make Tool Specialist Secret the 2 set to a more offensively minded 4 set, and it would work great. In my opinion, this is actually what makes Safi'jiiva's armor so interesting and what really proves this point for me. Safi armor increases your attack, element, status, and affinity while your weapon is unsheathed. Also, you take damage when you attack, which you then regen after you have hit a monster enough times without sheathing. This is the perfect example. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is forced fun, forced utility, forced upon us what could otherwise have been a useless skill. Think about it. This isn't really one set bonus in the way that we normally think of set bonuses in Monster Hunter. Realistically, it's 2. It's the classic 2 set is all of the health chunking and regen, and then 4 set is all of the damage skills. But they reworked it a bit to see if people would prefer it this way. But it's the same idea, but just by making it so that the lower tier set bonus also comes with half of the offensive bonuses too to make people use it.
Well, that makes sense.
So what I am saying is, if instead this had been 2 set, all the health shenanigans, and 4 set, all the offensive stuff, how many of you would have ever run just the 2 set bonus by itself? I know that I probably would have. The amount of fun that you could have between the resentment synergy and all the regen, the health regen augments, the recovery up skill, all of that is just so much interesting stuff to explore, and it's so much fun now that we've messed with it. But would we have ever even found that if it had not been attached to such a powerful offensive skill as well? This is my main question, and leans back to my main point. There is no such thing as a useless skill in Monster Hunter. Only a player who plays in a way that doesn't take advantage of said skill. There are, of course, ways that Capcom could, in the future, push people into using more of these skills and to let these skills have a larger imprint on the way that we hunt in general, but who knows what will actually happen in the future, especially as this is simply my opinion on the matter. Maybe you guys think differently. Alright everyone, my name is Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been a bit of a discussion on the idea of useless skills in Monster Hunter. What are your thoughts on the matter? Do you have any ideas for how to use these types of skills better in the future? Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes when they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters or report important news about the kingdom Animalia. Rage, Con, and Hollow are all here, talking about the things you want to hear, so if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros, there's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.